Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon. I'm back, and today I wanted to talk to you about the biggest problem I think there is in Marvel Strike Force. So this is a really straightforward problem, and it's something that you really only experience in the late game, and that is farming out gears to gear 13 and 14 and the such. So if we look at a character that I actually have high up, I actually only have one character gear tier 12, I believe. If we sort by gear, I think Gamora is my only character that I have at gear tier 12. Yeah, she is my only character that I have at gear tier 12. I don't know if Gamora is really worth taking to gear tier 12 in hindsight, but she's a little bit of a relic of a character that I used to have. And you know, we sort of see I do have some orange gear on her, but those are non-unique gears. You know, Marvel Strike Force has this thing where they have some gears, you know, for example, this one right here, where if I want to create this blade, I'm gonna need this superior promethium, and if you go to farm it, there's nowhere to farm it. There's literally nowhere to farm it. That is so bad. That is probably one of the biggest problems I see in Marvel Strike Force. I mean, this is literally, oh my goodness, like it's not obtainable. Like, that's the thing, you simply cannot get it. I think the only way you can get these kind of things is you can maybe randomly get it in a war orb drop, which is really hard. Not to mention the fact that if you look at how many different things there could be in here, I mean, there's so many different things you need, and then you need multiple of it, so it's not even that helpful to, you know, you need multiple drops of it from the war orbs. Or what you have to do, from my understanding, is you have to wait and check in on the store every day, and you have to have them pop up right here in this top section with these sort of gold gear materials. So this is just so bad. It's not obtainable. You know, that is not what I'd consider farmable. I don't consider farmable hoping it comes in a gear drop, you know, in an orb, or checking in every day in the store and hoping, man, maybe today's the day I'll get to make progression more in the game. You know, not every gold piece of gear is like that. For example, these ones, you know, they drop from missions, and I'm totally cool with this whenever it drops in a mission. You know, I think this is actually an example of how the progression should be. Villains chapter 7, and then the later hero chapter, I believe probably some gold pieces maybe are available in there. I'd assume so. You know, it's an entirely different power gap from the earlier story chapters. You know, you need a pretty competent team to head into those story missions and perform well. So I think it's a really good idea for them to have gold gear sort of hidden away in those past chapters, because I have no problem with them keeping gold gear sort of tucked away as an end game goal. But I want them to be a goal. You know, right now, not being able to farm them is just that doesn't work, you know. And even worse, for some of these, you rely heavily on getting them out of Dark Dimension, and then the way it works is you get a set of, you can only run Dark Dimension so many times, so you have to be really specific with who you level up. Like, you could actually paint yourself in a corner with this game right now. You get a select amount of the gold gear from running Dark Dimension, and if you were to just invest that into some random character that you really like, that you had high up, you could actually use up your gold gear, and then you'd be stuck, you know, needing to get into Dark Dimension 2 or 3 with, you know, a higher tier character, and you just are not able to get that gold gear you need. Mine is, you know, waiting in the store for it to drop one by one in there. I mean, I think it's a horrible system. You know, I like a lot of the other systems in Marvel Strike Force. I think a lot of them are free to play friendly. I appreciate that there's no characters that are completely locked behind a paywall, you know, like they are in Marvel Future Fight. But this is just the big problem, because I mean, it just doesn't work, and I think they keep it like this because people buy it, because, you know, right now if I wanted this, you know, I just spend $15, and like, that is, it's $15 isn't even enough to complete this gear piece. You know, I really dislike the fact that most of it's not farmable, and then on top of that, some of the stuff that is farmable, there's very limited amounts you can get. I believe these are called mini uniques or something like that. I'm not quite sure about the terminology, because again, this is a very late game thing you deal with, but you know, this becomes a much more of a problem whenever you go into Dark Dimension, and say I want to, you know, I really would like like to start unlocking Ultron, but I need gear tier 13 characters to do that, and it's just such a pain to farm out gear tier 13 on a character, and I couldn't even imagine gear tier 14. So my suggested fix to this is I'd really like it if once we get to these later campaign nodes and the heroes and the villains, and I believe Nexus too, you know, I'd really like it if these could you know, drop gold gear, you know, instead of having to sit here and, you know, not have it farmable. I just think every piece of gold gear should be farmable in at least one node. Again, drop rates can be low, I understand, you know, gotta make a little bit of money here, but I just think it's incredibly scummy to not have any way of accessing it. It makes the late game very unappealing as a player, because you're sort of like what's the why bother going for Dark Dimension 2 when I can't even, like, I have no way to work towards it. I just have to hope maybe today's the day I'll get some gear in the store. Like, that's not engaging. I think it really is a disappointing thing for a lot of players, and I think they're lucky that they implemented that into the late game, because I think if you were new to the game and you saw that, I think it'd be very disappointing, and you probably quit playing the game because you're like, that's stupid that I cannot obtain something. You know, I think the only reason why people deal with it is because at that point you're so far into the game, when you are actually getting gold gear, I just think you accept that it's how it is. Yeah, and I think it needs to be farmable in campaign nodes. Now this is something I hope will get better, because a couple months ago we didn't even have these campaign nodes here that drop the gold gear. So, you know, my hope is maybe from Foxnext's perspective, you know, there's probably two ways you can think about. One, they're just locking behind because they want money, or two, you know, they aren't making gold gear very obtainable right now, because in their mind, where they want people to be right now is they want the average player to be like clearing story missions, maybe not even on Dark Dimension 2, and then, you know, like, I think as a dev, you have an idea of where you want the average player to be in your game, and I think right now sort of their philosophy is probably, you know, you should maybe be getting into Dark Dimension 2. That's where they want the average player, and as we move farther along the game where they want people to start moving into Dark Dimension 3, then they'll start making gold gear more obtainable. So maybe the reason why it's not obtainable right now is because, again, they're added in Dark Dimension 3, but it's not really, they don't really want everyone going into it, so they're viewing gold gear as sort of a bonus thing you're buying on top of your normal gear. You know, that's sort of you trying to go above and beyond by completing those modes. That's the only reason I could think of, aside from just trying to make money, as to why gold gear is not obtainable in set ways. So, but let me know what you think about gold gear down below. Again, I am a player that is, you know, little earlier into the game than a lot of people in terms of you know, my character's power levels and stuff like that. So let me know if this is still a problem later on. I've watched people play the game and it does seem to be a problem still later on, so I don't think I'm too wrong here. But again, always interested to hear what you guys have to say. With that being said, what do I really know? Because I am only an 18-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.